Howdy YouTube, Tennessee Slim here, and Majin Buu, and Boogie the cat is running around too while I'm doing this. But I just got some ideas and tips and tricks that I like to share with you if you're thinking about going out and hiking, specifically, the southern portion of the Appalachian Trail in the winter. The northern sections can be a little bit more where you gotta have a little bit more, but down here you can get by with most of the things I'm going to go over. And to start with, I'm just going to go over what I have typically wearing. I don't normally have two down jackets. This is a new one that I just got. It's a little bit puffier than the Ghost Whisper that people tend to have with them. And this works pretty well, even in the winter. But if you especially want to have a little bit more puffiness and freezing weather. So we got this new puffy that's 13 years old. I got it used on Mercari for like $36. I was able to see what it was and made a good deal with them, and had a couple tears in it she told me about, so I knew I was gonna have to patch them. But this Gorilla Tape holds up really well, and I've patched this jacket. This patch has been here on this jacket since I got it for years now. That clear Gorilla Tape. Can't even tell you put it on stuff when it's clear. And so the Ghost Whisperer is getting upgraded to this new one for my winter jacket specifically. And then I have this Patagonia R1. I've had one of these for a long time now, and I really appreciate having them when I do. And so this pretty much helps wick away sweat. If you're sweating too much, you want to take it off. But if, a little light dampness under the armpit, it helps to have a base layer to wick all that moisture away from your body, keep you a lot warmer. And then below that, I have a base layer shirt. It's better to have one with sleeves in the winter, but this one I cut the sleeves off. And then also, I really recommend having a buff. This one's merino wool. You don't need a wool one, if it's not too cold. So I like that. And then I usually go with convertible pants, ones that zip off. I got these used on Poshmark or something for like $10. The lady was willing to sell them for Facebook Marketplace. And under that, I got a pair of Smart Wool 250 weight jogging pants. I got the jogging pants because they came in an extra small size, and that was perfect. Those work really great. They got pockets in them. Instead of a slit to pull your junk out, they've actually got pockets here, and you're able to put stuff in here, keep it warm, like your water filter and your battery bank and your phone, and maybe a headlamp if you want to keep that warm from dying overnight in the cold. That's really nice to have. Same with this pocket here, and you got a Napoleon pocket. That's really nice to keep stuff like that in. And so then I move down to my socks. I'm usually hiking in these, unless it's walking in snow. I'll put on some waterproof socks, and I'll go over that too. But and then on the very end here, I got these slipper shoe socks, and I really enjoy these for my camp shoes. I put these aftermarket insoles in there, and they do really good. Once I added these, I didn't like them. They were kind of flimsy. Didn't give you any protection walking around. If you step on a rock or something, it's like walking around barefoot. But once I added those, I was really happy with these. And so that's typically what you'll see me hiking around in. If it gets a little bit warmer, of course I'm gonna put this away and maybe grab my other base layer, which is wool. It's a thinner shirt, so if it's a little bit warmer out, I can put this away as my sleep shirt and grab my Smart Wool layer shirt. So that's for the clothes. And so I just wanted to go over now my cooking gear. So I always carry a knife. you don't really need something this big typically. I'm usually building a fire, baton and wood, stuff like that. So I like a big sturdy knife, but I also don't want something expensive. I carried a Benchmade one time and almost lost it, and I was pretty heartbroken until I found it, luckily. But had I not, it would have been gone forever. So I prefer carrying something that's like $20, $30, something you're not really gonna miss if you do happen to break it, or if you want to ditch the weight, you can give it to a buddy who's interested in it. I always like doing that. I got this pot grabber here, and this really comes in handy because I'm a moron. I touch things that are hot a lot of times, so if there's something that has handles on it, I'll take the handles off. And this allows me to still be able to manipulate things, especially when they're on top of a fire. Speaking of, this is the pot. This is a titanium skillet / pot. And this is dedicated for fire use. Anytime I'm cooking on a fire, this is the pot I'll be using. In the winter, I would suggest actually a larger pot, just because you're going to typically be boiling a lot more water to stay warm. You can put it in a Nalgene, put that in your sleeping bag at night, especially if you already had the trouble of building the fire. The best thing you can do is keep that hot water bowl and right next to you all night in your Nalgene. So having the ability to cook on an open fire saves your fuel, because if you're doing that using your fuel, your fuel's not going to last very long. So to cook on an open fire, I have this grate here, and this is also titanium. I found this on Amazon pretty cheap, $16 or so. It's like 2.5 ounces. And this right here allows me to cook on an open fire. Once I put a rock here, I've got a very stable platform to be able to cook a steak or anything I pack out that or vegetables. They cook up great on something like this. Great pun. All right, and then along with that, I'm gonna carry my cook pot, and this is typically just used to boil water. I've seasoned it with oil. Everything I have, I try to season it with oil. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it don't. I'm not really sure why. Some titanium works better with. Maybe it's my process. I don't know. But I carry this, and I also keep it in an insulated koozie in the winter, and that just allows things to not go cold so fast. My coffee stays a little warmer, a little longer. And I'm also able to pack out maybe like an ice cream or something in it. This is made to put a Ben & Jerry's in. I'm not sure where you're going to find this, but I was lucky to score one of these in a clearance bin somewhere. And normally I just made my own koozie, but this one's so cool. I like having it. And it can attach to the pack if you need the extra room in your pack. You can put this on the outside. And in there, I'm carrying my stove. Right here, I keep it in this case because if these washers get rusted, they'll fail. Are you playing with the cat? And then, so keep it in there. This is the Polaris Fire Maple Stove. This is an ounce heavier than the Pocket Rocket 2 stove that's popular. And it's actually more efficient because it has a pressure regulation design, sort of like the Deluxe Pocket Rocket. And it doesn't have a piezo igniter. I always have a lighter anyways, and I don't really need that. So this has performed really well in cold temperatures. You may still need to warm up your fuel canister in really cold weather, but as far as fuel efficiency, and when the canister gets low, when the fuel's low, this still burns really efficiently. It's not till that canister is like really at the last of its ability before you really notice anything compared to a Pocket Rocket. I carry olive oil also in there, and that's to add extra fat calories to everything. Fat calories are your friend in the winter, so if you can even in the winter maybe carry double this size of olive oil. And olive oil will congeal when it's cold, so you'll have to heat it up in your water. If you had it in something like this that's not more scoopable. And finish it off, the long-handled. I got a blue long-handled spoon. Don't get the spork. I had the spork. I hated the spork. I couldn't wait until I found someone that was willing to take it off my hands, and that way I had a reason to buy the spoon version. The spoon version is the way to go. I got this Jogo coffee straw, Jogo, and this is a game changer. Eventually they'll make one out of titanium, maybe, I don't know, but I don't care how much it weighs. I do care how much it weighs, but for what it does, it gives me fresh coffee. I don't drink instant coffee. I pack out real man coffee and drink the coffee, not the instant coffee. And that is that. All right, cool. So now I want to go. I filmed this video stupid the last time. I'm trying to keep it upright this time. So we're going to go over electronics that I happen to carry. And the first one I want to talk about is this. Now, typically people carry either the 2-ounce one they just came out with from Flextail, or they carry the 3-ounce one. I've come to realize that this one is 2 ounces heavier than those that people typically carry. The X2, Tiny Pump X2. This is the Max Pump Pro 2, and it can charge a phone. So it's got a 3,600 mAh battery in there. So if it comes down to needing the battery from this, I have that option. And so for 2 ounces more, so it's 5.6. So, and the other one is around 3.5 or something like that. So a little bit more extra weight, and I get another use out of this. This typically can get a fire going really good. Like, if you have any ability to build a fire, this thing will get it going really fast. And then you're also able to blow up your air mattress in the night. It has a light on the end, and having an extra light in the winter can really come in handy, I've found. So there's that. The headlamp is the star of the show. I've preached the Black Diamond Revolt forever. It has the smart features where if you dim it, turn it back on, it's at the same brightness. It seems simple, but it's huge. When you touch the side, it goes to its max brightness. So if you see a creature looking at you, you can hit that brightness, and bam, you can tell what it is. Another feature that it has that I haven't really seen in other lights is this peripheral vision. So it goes from the red light to this spotlight. You know, this is the normal cast you're going to get from a headlamp. But this right here only casts pretty much directly in front of you. So it's really good for hiking at night. And then in the winter, you don't get much daylight. So if you're going to do bigger miles, especially in any snow, you're going to probably be hiking into the night. I carry headphones wired with an adapter to plug into my phone in case these Bluetooth headphones for any reason don't work. I always have these. And this adapter also lets me be able to charge the phone at the same time. So if I'm sitting in a McDonald's or a restaurant or something, I'm able to charge my phone and not really bother anybody. And that's clutch. This wall charger, 65 watt wall charger, I would recommend having a larger wattage, higher wattage wall charger, maybe like 100 watt. That way, if you have a high wattage battery like this one, you can charge your phone and your battery at a high wattage, because this is a 65 watt battery, so it doesn't take the 7 hours that a 20 watt battery would take. Say your Nightcore or the normal Anker batteries. And I don't think Anker really sells these anymore. Ugreen actually offers a 100 watt battery with 65 watt input capacity, around the same milliamp capacity as this one. So Ugreen has some cool products that they're promoting, and Linus Tech Tips likes a few of their products, so I'm more inclined to go with Ugreen for my upgrade. That'll come eventually when that fails. And then cords. I have doubles of everything. I have a long and a short version of C to C, micro to A, and C to A. And that's in case anyone has a cord that fails, or if one of these fail, I don't have to rely on a gas station and what they have available to get my phone charged. And in my battery, I keep that in this hip pouch from Z-Packs, just to keep it protected from moisture and stuff like that. And then that's also in my pocket when I'm hiking and stuff like that in the winter, to keep the capacity, because the winter will kill it. And so that's worn weight in the winter. And so then I got hillbilly death whistles. A bear is really afraid when you pull these out. They'll get the fuck out, they'll go out of your way. I gotta edit that out now, I guess. But they'll get out of your way. And speaking of bear protection, typically I have the bear cable, or the bear line, the bear bag, and I line that bear bag with this bag. But when I'm hiking, I just put this in my backpack because it's structured the way I like. Keeps everything flat against my back. These op sacks, you might as well cut the zipper off of it, because that thing ain't gonna last very long. But I'm not really using it for the smell protection. It's just a thick bag. This portion of the bag will last a while because it's just thick plastic, and it works really well to, like I said, keep everything stacked in my backpack up against my back. And then for anything that's crushable, I've got this. This is my mouse vault. I keep this with Pop-Tarts and crackers and stuff of that nature, and that allows me to keep it from getting crushed while I'm hiking. If I pull out a Pop-Tart, it's a lot more enjoyable than pulling out a Pop-Tart that's all crushed up. And then in there, I keep this windscreen that my buddy made me, and just in case, I need to block the wind that's available. That's sort of something new. I wouldn't say that's necessary, but I like having that protection. Alright, and so then I carry, toothpaste, toilet paper, toothbrush, wet wipes, in case, you really want to get a really clean feeling. If your butt isn't clean and you go hiking, you will get a rash. And if you don't address that, it can get really bad. What's the cat got? He's got something. Alright, so that's important. And then along with that, I would say is important is your first aid kit. Now this doesn't have to be much. It's really preferential to what you need. But in here I got Body Glide, I've got a tourniquet. Just in case the worst happens, I gotta stop someone or myself from bleeding out. I do have some medications like allergy pills, antacids, antidiuretics, aspirin in case someone's having a heart attack. I carry ibuprofen, mole strips, a Sutra, just in case. And I do have, just little odds and ends that you might need out there, You don't want to have too much, but you also, it's nice to have what you need when you need it. It's better to have it when you need it than not. And then I got a sewing kit and my fireproof, windproof matches. I like having a few different ways to start a fire, but I got thread in there. I got a thimble because I stuck a sewing needle through my thumb one time, and the matches and some safety pins. Very nice to have, but again, you don't want to have to use it. I got a bunch of odds and ends of paracord, buckles, repair buckles, things of that nature. Normally, I'm, not opposed to helping somebody fix stuff, or I'm not opposed to fixing stuff myself. So that's nice to have when you need it. Again, a marker. Carry a marker just in case you need to make a sign, anything like that. It's good to have if you need to leave somebody a note or let someone know where you are. This is lubricant for quick connects. I've got alcohol wipes and repair patches and Dyneema patches. Again, if someone comes up to me and they're like, I got a hole in something, don't fear. All right. I have an Allen wrench in here from a trekking pole, a gasket if someone loses their Sawyer gasket, some more Dyneema patches. I've got a flip fuel. That's not necessary, but I like having it. I've got a lighter, and that's not the flip fuel brand. That's just some cheap little knockoff version I found on Amazon. But you want to have this pressure relief valve. That's the most important part if you're actually trying to use these things. Having that pressure release valve is the key. I got a buckle. These break, so it's nice to have. If you got to replace it, you sometimes have to buy like a whole new item just to take the buckle off. I have done that, and I recommend carrying something like this. I have scissors that I've fashioned a cover for. I like having scissors. I'll probably get like a switchblade or a switch army thing that has scissors on it eventually, but those always break, and so I like having real scissors. Batteries. My headlamp's rechargeable. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it can take batteries as well. I've got a P38. I've got extra quick connects if I need it. And I have fingernail clippers. If you find these in a hiker box, do not use them because that is gross. You've got to sanitize them first. And that's that. So now I got my tent, my trowel. So my titanium trowel usually goes with my tent stakes. My tent stakes are these DAC aluminums. These, unless you're beating them into a rock, they're not going to bend. If they bend, you beat it into a rock. So those are really good. Be careful about kicking them into the ground. You might have one go through your shoe. And then I also carry these shepherd ones for the perimeter of my net tent. And they don't really need to be much, so that's what I use for that. And I have red, white, and blue ones. I don't know how I got red, white, and blue ones, but I did. Go America. And then I have a Tyvek. I cut that to the shape of my tent and then throw it in the washing machine with an agitator on a heavy cycle, and it takes it from sounding like, Tyvek to sounding, really soft. And works better than the nylon footprints that come with tents, and they charge $80 for. This is a Hyperlight Echo 2 tent, Dyneema tent, double walled that you set up with trekking poles, or you can set it up, just to a tree if you want to. I really like it. It's really neat design. I wish there were more tents like it on the market, but it's like 2 pounds, and it works great for me and the dog. And I keep it in that pump sack because the shape of the pump sack isn't circle, and I can keep it in my pack more ergonomically. We come over here, and we'll talk about what I use, my sleep system. So I would call this a 4-layer system. We'll start with the sleeping pad. This is the X-Therm. They hold up really well, these X-Therm pads, because they have a thicker Dyneema a thicker denier on the bottom, and so that works really well, especially for me because I'm tough on stuff. So I really recommend the Thermarest because the lifetime warranty especially. And then next we have a 30-degree claimed, but it's really a 40-degree, I would wager, sleeping bag from Big Agnes. This is down. It's not 850 feel or anything. This is a 600 field Big Agnes, really trim, fit sleeping bag. And inside that goes a silk liner. Now this adds a little bit of warmth, but I'm not relying on this for warmth. I'm relying on this for the silkiness of it, mainly. And along with keeping my bag a little bit cleaner. And then I have this 30-degree claimed rating. I would wager it's probably more of a 40-degree. And this is from REI. This is their quilt that they came out with. And I really like how it's performed. I've actually been pretty impressed. I was kind of mad when I got it because I didn't feel like it had enough down in it. Blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. 19 ounces. You can't beat it. But the foot box did start ripping apart pretty early on when I got it. And I slapped this Gorilla Tape on there, and it's been on there ever since. It's been through the wash. And don't put your down in a washing machine unless it's a front-loading washing machine. And use powder detergent, not liquid detergent, because liquid detergent gets stuck in the fibers. All right, and then to round out the sleep system is my pillow. I do recommend this Nemo Pillow. I don't recommend their sleeping pad, their Tensor sleeping pad, but I do recommend this pillow. I had a few of their Tensor sleeping pads fell on me pretty early before I felt like they should have. Compared to other sleeping pads I've used. But this pillow is amazing. This case comes off, and you can throw it in the washing machine. And it's like 3 ounces. So I can't stress how much I love the Nemo pillow. And so I got a compression stack and another bag for the liner, and then another bag for the sleeping pad. And then I'm using this more sturdy dry bag for a liner. I normally use a Nylaflume that's more like a trash bag like material, or a turkey oven bag like material. I like turkey oven bags too. They work really well. Basically the same thing. But those Nylaflume liners are cheap, but when they blow out, they blow out. So you either got to patch it with tape if you have it, or wait till you get to town so you can replace that. All right. And then we want to talk about the extra clothes. So normally I'm going to be wearing, this is like a base layer shirt. And then I carry extra fleece-like pants, not real fleece, but just some layer, extra layer for your bottoms. I would say, some down pants would really serve this purpose a lot better. It's more compact, but I haven't got that yet. So I've got ex officios. I wear a pair, and then I have an extra pair for if I'm taking a shower and doing my laundry. I have a clean pair to put on. I have this Smart Wool 250 weight mid-zip shirt, and like I said, this is interchangeable as my mid layer or my base layer. If I'm hiking and I want to wear, a thinner shirt than my R1. And then I added these little thumb loopies. And I keep all that in this bag. And this is just a lightweight nylon cinch top. I like the cinch top. And I just throw turkey oven bags down in there. And that pretty much makes it waterproof. And then I can go over here. I got these Darn Tough socks. This is another pair of Darn Tough socks. That's normally what I hike in. I have carried 2 pairs of those. And then I have these liner socks. These are normally, if I'm going to wear my sealskin or my waterproof socks, I'll usually wear those liner socks with those. I got these down booties, so when I'm sleeping, you typically will just wear thick wool socks and down booties, and that works pretty well. And when I'm hiking, in the snow, I wear boots, and it don't really matter if they're waterproof or not because I got the waterproof socks, but I find that waterproof boots will typically keep your feet a little bit warmer. And then I got the foam pad. This is typically for the dog, but I can lay it down in the snow, take a break, what have you. This is stuff for your feet. You got micro spikes. These are from Vargo. These are the cleats from Vargo. They're very lightweight. They're a couple ounces altogether. And when you need them, you need them. When you don't, they're just sitting in your pack and they don't really weigh too much or take up too much space. So those can be a lifesaver. These are what I typically would suggest anyone wear in the winter. If you're walking through snow, is a gaiter that will come up to your calf muscle, just right at the top of your calf muscle. So your calf muscle will keep it in place. I'm a little OCD, so maybe that's just me, but these work really well. They're tall enough to not slide down while you're walking. They keep the snow out of your boots, out of your pant legs, and if you're hiking, you're probably not going to have snowshoes. So this is the next best thing if you're trying to post hole in the snow, along with the waterproof socks. Those can be a game changer, and the traction devices. These three things I wouldn't typically carry hiking, but in the winter can really make a difference. Moving on, I got a Smart Wool. This is the 250 weight wool beanie. And I've got the balaclava fleece, synthetic fleece, and the hood, for the hooded jacket that I'm carrying. All together, that's a good layering system. And then for the hands here, I got thin weight gloves and rain shell mitts. And then inside the rain shell mitts are another pair of gloves that are thick synthetics. Now you could go with down gloves. You could, if you're willing to keep those dry, try and keep those dry. You could go with alpaca fleece or like wool. You could do, something a lot nicer than that even. But basically, these two aren't going to change. The liner glove, you want to try and go for a wool liner glove, and then some sort of hard shell. And these aren't going to be waterproof. You can't just walk out in the rain and expect that none of this is going to get wet. But if it does, it's still going to keep your hands warm to some extent until convection takes place and you get frostbite. So don't rely on these to keep your hands completely waterproof. That's what I use the umbrella for. This Helionox 1 umbrella has performed very admirably. It has a 5-year warranty. And they have replaced it a few times, but it holds up a lot longer than the umbrellas that collapse into themselves or that are carbon fiber or any of that. It is what it is. It's 8 ounces, and it's just between being too light and flimsy and then being over-engineered and not light enough to hike with. So the Helionox 1 umbrella, man, that thing's a good buy. And then over top, I got, a Marmont precip jacket. In the winter, I carry a bigger jacket. So in the summer, I carry like a Patagonia Alpine style rain jacket or a Frog Tog Extreme Light. Something, I don't really, care about too much as far as keeping me dry because it's warm enough to not worry so much. But this is, more of an insulation layer in the winter, and I do rely on it to keep the snow from, absorbing into whatever I'm wearing. And then I have an overpant. In the summer, I typically wear a rain skirt for most season, but in the winter, this helps to keep the mud and wetness and all that yuckiness off of you. So I really have those in the winter, and then change to a rain skirt. So then my water filter system, typically I'm trying to build a fire and not use this, because if this freezes, it's going to be useless. And so this is typically in my pocket, and so if I need to filter water, I will wring it out as best I can
and put it back in my pocket and keep it warm. And I've engineered a little pump from HydroPack that allows me to push water through it. I can hook it up to this, and I can filter water out of a low stream, sort of like the MSR Pure Shot filter does. I've just sort of deconstructed it and made it, the filter replaceable using this Sawyer filter has a better flow rate. And I really like the company. They do really good philanthropy around the world. And, I just really like this system that I got from HydroPack that allows me to quick connect it so my gasket doesn't ever fall out. I'm not trying to thread this on and off of a bottle or a C-Knock bladder or anything like that. So to go along with it, I have this 3-liter bladder that gives me a lot of capacity. When I go to collect dirty water, I have enough for me and my dog. You could get away with a 2-liter version, but I like having this because it does go down in the backpack where the water bladder typically goes, and it's more ergonomic against your back if you have to carry a lot of water, which I don't typically do. Normally I'm only carrying a liter for me, which honestly is mostly for the dog, but I'll take sips of it here and there. But I'll typically try to drink as much as I can in camp at night. And along with my other electronic, I have the phone, of course, the Samsung. And I was using this case. It's really lightweight. I put the pop socket on there. But I decided to get the more robust Defender case with the little clip-on thing. That way I can clip it onto my backpack. And I guess we'll go over the backpack now. This is the Osprey Aether AG 60-liter pack. I love this pack. This pack is 5 pounds. I don't care because it has so much cushion. There's just the cushion on it, is typically more than what you see in any of these ultralight packs. This is tends to be the norm now, is not having a frame, using waterproof materials, which I like that. I wish they would make this, but with more waterproof material. I don't even care if it's the same weight. It would just be nice to not have to worry about the rain jacket. That's just a gripe of mine that I wish, also that they learn that people with a long torso have a skinny waist sometimes and had an option for that. So what I did here is I have a woman's large harness because the harness for this pack is interchangeable. So if you need a smaller or larger torso variation, you can do that. Now the women and the men harness for the Aether packs, aerial Aether packs, those are interchangeable. The hip belt, however, if you try to put a woman's hip belt in a man's pack, or a man's hip belt on a woman's pack, you're gonna have a little bit of trouble because the wings, these little plastic wings, are different. The men's are larger, and so it wasn't compatible with the woman's extra small hip belt I had originally that they sent me. That this was a warranty replacement for a pack that I had, and they decided instead of repairing the pack, they told me to pick out whatever I wanted. And I got this pack originally because it came with this day pack that is actually your brain. This is the brain for your pack. Turns into a day pack. And I was actually just buying this. I wanted this backpack simply because I was going to take this and use it for my Atmos pack. And they've redesigned the Atmos pack. I got the new Atmos, and I don't like it at all. The they just changed the hip belt too much to where it doesn't fit me anymore. And so I keep this one now. I've added a pad here in the back. There's a spot back here. I also keep my titanium grill down in this spot here. I had added, this in the winter. I keep a Nalgene to put boiling water in and shove down in my sleeping bag. So I have a insulated koozie for that and keeps the water from freezing fast. And then I always have this bottle with me. This is my love. I love this. I took this off a platypus reservoir and fashioned my own rotating system here, so it stays out of my face when I'm hiking, but as soon as I want to take a drink, and it doesn't need a straw to go down here because this actually collapses and pushes the liquid forward. So I really enjoy that bottle. And then the best pocket I added on a backpack is the sternum strap pocket. It can be a little bit annoying putting your pack on and off because you pretty much have to snap your chest strap every time. But for having the snacks ability to pull snacks out and still keep stuff in your hip packs pockets, and I don't try not to keep snacks in here because the mice will get a little hole. Once you get a little hole in here for any reason, it just gets bigger and bigger, unless you're willing to stop and sew it, which most people aren't. And then I added another little pouch on, and these Z-Pack hip belt pouches are made really well. I don't know about their backpacks. I don't really see their backpacks holding up too well, but those pouches hold up pretty well. And like I said, yeah, I interchanged the harness. So I did have the men's small harness, and it just really dawned on me recently that I should change. That those were interchangeable. I didn't really think about it. I knew I could change the waist belt size, but I didn't really think about changing the torso. So REI had these on sale for like $11, and I bought them. And each, the harness and the belt, for like $23, I was able to make my pack brand new. And last but not least, we'll come over here to what my dog has. And for his food bowl, I have this titanium plate, and this is also a snow shovel. And if I cook over a fire, I can actually fry fish or hamburgers or eggs or make pancakes, whatever I want to do. I have that ability, and I'm already going to be carrying a dog's plate. So if I just take it from him, wash it off, and then cook over a fire, I can. And then this is his water bowl, which we may, find a more permanent metal option, but for now that's what we like, and we usually like to go with Roughwear products. I've got now the fireworks going off in New Year's. This is what I'm doing, and so this clips onto my belt. I've got a belt that I clip my dog to, and then this end has a clip on it, and it's adjustable. You can make the length shorter or longer. I really like that. Normally, I would recommend the Crag XL adjustable leash that they used to call the slackline leash. It's bigger, and it has the talon clips instead of these clips. But if your dog's smaller and you don't need the rigidity, you can get those. I have this Palisades pack. I prefer the front range, but when I take the pack off, he still has the harness on, and it just makes things a lot easier on us. He has a brush, because he's a husky. Gotta have a brush. And he's got Muster's Secret, which is just basically Vaseline. Just something to keep his paws from freezing in the snow or getting damaged from hiking around, wore out. So it's kind of like lubrication, keeps him lubricated. And then for his food, these are just regular dry bags. Nothing fancy, too fancy. They're a little fancy because they got the view here on them. But inside there, I got turkey oven bags. And that way, his food is 100% waterproof. As long as that turkey oven bag doesn't bust or something. That I've yet to pull out a bag of wet dog food. And that is pretty much that. And most things I get, I go for warranties. You've probably heard me talk about that, say that a few times. But nothing beats Lecky poles. These Black Diamonds, these carbon cork $200 deals, they are not the way to go. Get you some aluminum Lecky trekking poles, because Black Diamond cannot even give me any of these these aluminum flick locks. They can't even give me them. I can't buy them. I can't get them. They don't exist for the marketplace. That Black Diamond can't even get them. So, which they can. They're just saying they can't because of course they're making brand new poles, but they can't give me no flick locks. But Lecky has a lifetime warranty on their aluminum poles, not their carbon poles. Their carbon poles have a 1-year warranty because carbon isn't as strong as aluminum. But carbon fiber poles aren't lightning conductive, so that's probably the major selling point I have for carbon poles. But these require an Allen wrench to adjust the tension of them, which is an extra thing you got to keep up with. And Lecky has outfitters at every town almost that will supply you with little parts and stuff if something breaks. And Black Diamond doesn't really do that, I've realized. So Lecky is still king to me in that department. But this Helionox umbrella has been king of the umbrellas for me so far. And you gotta have sunglasses. You gotta have sunglasses in the snow. These are just some cheap Shady Ray sunglasses, but I keep them in a hard shell container so they don't, break in my backpack, and I pull out some broken sunglasses. I like this wallet a lot because it has enough room to fit the money without having to fold it. If I put some bills in here, and then it has a little separate thing for keep my cards together. So I replaced this little tiny one with that, and I keep a few things in here still, but I do like having the larger wallet. And I hope this has helped anybody debating, what they have in the winter, what they should get, what's going on with that. I have a lot of, miles on the trail over the years. Me and the dog, we've hiked every mile of it. We have yet to through hike, but I did hike, pretty far pretty early into winter, going south and starting in Irwin. You're pretty much in 5,000, feet of elevation, and I walked through the snow for 30 days straight. And the gear I had then was nowhere near as fleshed out as what I've just gone over. So if your gear looks anywhere similar to what I have, you should be just fine. And I do change all this out as it gets warmer. So none of this is set. Hell, if I find something even that works better, then I'm willing to try it out and see if it does. And if it works out, great. I'll replace it, or I'll set it aside. If it's sort of a seasonal thing. But also I like looking online for used gear that I know was good gear. It's just people got things in their closet, or they've moved on to lighter weight gear and things like that. So you can do a lot of good savings if you're willing to buy used. I have made mistakes buying things used because I didn't know as much as I know now. So you really want to look for stuff is a good buy. Like if you find a used Thermarest pad or a used Osprey pack, things that have been fleshed out and are good, it's worth taking that risk, buying it used, saving a few dollars, and then for clothes especially, buying things used just makes sense. You get a pair of shoes for $50 that are $150 usually because someone bought the wrong size, stuff like that. That's what you want to look for. If you want to buy a Dyneema tent, you can get a used Dyneema tent for the price that you're going to pay for a brand new nylon tent. So if you're looking into a Big Agnes tent, look into a Dyneema tent instead that someone's, used for 2 or 3 nights, decided they didn't like it. Things like that. I get really excited when I'm able to use gear that I never thought I'd be able to afford. Sort of like this blue sleeping bag behind me. I bought that used for $60 on Poshmark. And, it was brand new. No one never used that thing. The tag on it looks, bleach white. This Magma quilt, I didn't pay $300, $400, whatever they charge for that thing. I paid $180 used on Reddit. And then the sleeping pad, I didn't even buy that. That was in a hiker box. Someone got rid of an Uber light that failed on them. The baffle failed, so it looked like a big pillow. And I did the warranty, got them to replace it, and when that one failed, I asked them if they would be willing to give me an Xtherm instead of another Uber lot, because I wasn't having really such a good experience with it. And so, warranties really pay for themselves. The Solomon shoes, I go for them. They work for me. They do have a wide version of some of their shoes if your feet are, wider, but they have a 2-year warranty. And they have the quick lace system where I'm not tying my shoes. I don't even almost know how to tie shoes anymore because of them. And they got a rigid toe cap. Something, the Ultras and the Topos and stuff, they seem to be lacking on is protecting the top. I kick rocks and roots and stuff too much to not have a proper toe cap on my shoes. But I will say no shoe has really good insoles. The insoles that come in your shoes are pretty much garbage, especially Ortholite that Solomon likes to use. Take them out and put in Superfeet or Sole insoles, something that has more rigidity, supports your arches. If you don't have arches, then you get away with using the low whatever drop shoes, the Ultras and stuff like that. But if you have an arch, you want arch support. I've found. But yeah, hopefully that gives you all an idea of what you should maybe have with you. Or, a lot of this is overkill, but or as far not overkill, I wouldn't say overkill. It's like the cooking on the fire and stuff like that. That might be overkill. A lot of people aren't typically willing to take that risk, and you really don't need to have all this stuff. It don't, the cold comes in waves. So if you hold up at a hostel, you can save your money on gear instead, and spend that money at a hostel, where you can sit around for a few days, get fat. So there's different ways. There's a bunch of ways to skin a cat. I don't know why we're skinning cats, but there is more than one way to do it. So if you have any questions, if there's anything I could be helpful, leave a comment, like the video, all that good stuff. And I hope you have some happy trails ahead of you.